HITC Sport, and what is that sound? Oh yeah, the inevitable. Cristiano Ronaldo wheeling away and flexing his six-pack in front of a watching Wanda. By the way, that's the Wanda Metropolitano, alright? Atletico Madrid Stadium, okay? Calm down, Icardi, okay? It's not another affair. But the game at Ellen Road changed my mind. Manchester United are just going through with this tie, aren't they? And Diego Simeone should leave Spain now. Just quit. Go now. Get out of Atletico Madrid. Now, lads, this isn't the first time he's experienced a rocky spell at Atletico. Cries above, there were whispers in the winter of 2019 that he might be sacked. I mean, to be fair, that season he had drawn 0-0 6 times by January. 6 0-0s. If Jose Mourinho did that at Man United, oh, you know, the fans demanding to have his face grilled in a barbecue. But lads, since late 2011, Atletico Madrid fans have watched their team draw 0-0 58 times. Yes, 58. 58 goalless draws since the start of the 11-12 season. I mean, 55 of them were under Simeone. That is a violent collection of dross. He's delivered over 50 0-0s. This is why he's never been given a chance at a massive club. This man is a negative defensive coach who froths over 0-0 draws. I mean, put him in charge at Old Trafford and, you know, being the enemy of Beckham. And I'm sorry, after 30 minutes of failing to break down Fulham or Blackburn and instead trying to turn Pogba into the French Charlie Adam, you know, just impaling someone's knee with his studs, oh, he'll have the entire Stretford end booing and screaming, attack, attack, attack! A slogan which probably also runs through the mind of Chris Brown whenever he gets in the car with a woman. But I think he should leave. The Atletico Madrid project has run its course. They're 5th in the Liga, failed to win most of their games this season. They've been dumped out of both Spanish Cups, scraped through their Champions League group with more defeats than wins and a goal difference of -1. That's about as convincing as Post Malone's sobriety. He's in charge of an aging team which needs a rebuild. And 2 years ago, the club's debts were at nearly £1 billion. I mean, Diego Simeone is a football gangster, right? I mean, that's his image, right? Someone who looks like Jorge Masvidal and is generally a tough guy. I mean, honestly, cut in front of him to buy shampoo in the queue at Tesco's in Madrid, and he looks like the type of person who'd break the fingers off your hand. Honestly, he looks like one of the bad guys in Breaking Bad. If you would ask me to pick one football manager in the world who I would be terrified to fight, I mean, it would be the manager of Atletico Madrid. Actually, no, on second thoughts, it'd probably be the coach of Bristol Rovers. Honestly, me in a back alley with Joey Barton. Someone who spent time in prison. I'd imagine it'd be like challenging Smeagol to a scrap. Honestly, anything goes. He'd probably bite a chunk out of my neck, like something out of Shaun of the Dead. And again, I mean, the likes of Steve Bruce. Again, that'd be like trying to fight Bear in the Big Blue House, or the goddamn Cookie Monster. I mean, it'd be like trying to beat up Snorlax. Pretty sure my fist would get stuck in his belly button. Well, no, where was I? Oh yeah, my point is that Simeone has a terrifying image, and is probably the archetypal villain of the sport, right? I mean, this man is the Argentinian Joker, painted as someone who just wants to watch the world burn. I mean, talk to football purists in Barcelona and Brighton, and they will tell you that this man has created a team of snarling orcs. Honestly, Diego Simeone or Diego Saraman? I'm confident that when recruiting footballers in the window, he ideally looks for the notorious bad boys. You know, I bet like an emo girl with daddy issues swiping on Tinder. You know, swiping right until she finds a tattooed biker who just spent 14 months in prison for stuffing kittens down the sink. But honestly, he handpicks the villains of this sport. I mean, Luis Suarez is a world-class footballer, yes, but he's also the sport's answer to Hannibal Lecter. I mean, sure, he's been on his best behavior since the 2014 World Cup, but trust me, once he's been retired for 5 years and is no longer bowing to the whims of FIFA, oh, he'll probably be caught nibbling the feet of corpses in a Uruguayan morgue. I mean, Yannick Carrasco was brought back after shamelessly ditching Atletico Madrid to go and swap his potential for big bags of cash in China, where he then broke his teammate's nose in training, was labelled a skunk by a different Chinese teammate, oh yeah, and earnestly sparked a mass brawl in a pre-season friendly. Sure, he's a talented footballer, but clearly he's just a Belgian dappy. I mean, remember that tattooed nut job from N-Dubs? The guy who looks like the type to stick gerbils in the microwave? I mean, I could be here all day. Both Antoine Griezmann and Diego Costa were re-signed after ditching Atletico for bigger clubs. And I mean, come on, Costa in particular. I'm surprised he and Simeone had such a good relationship, because both of them are massive hotheads from South America. And yeah, while Costa was at Chelsea, Simeone was taking him out for dinner. I'm sorry, what? Jose Mourinho had to sneak into a hotel room to meet Ashley Cole when he was at Arsenal, and he got bags of grief in the media for it. But this is just blatant tapping up, and they're both shamelessly posing for Instagram. Honestly, they don't care about the rules. But again, two temperamental egos who flip over nothing. It's like forcing two pit bulls to share dog food out of the same bowl. One of them is getting his nose bitten off his face. I mean, Simeone has a fetish for signing bad boys. Christoph, he once signed Emre Belözoğlu. Decent Turkish midfielder, yes, but 1/3 of his Wikipedia page is dedicated to controversies. Clearly, he's not someone you want to invite to Sunday lunch, not unless you want him stabbing your nan in the eye with a fork. I mean, it's interesting that Simeone has this image of a football street fighter when he actually shot to worldwide fame for being the victim at a World Cup, being kicked by David Beckham. I'm sorry, a clash between Simeone, someone who looks like he bites the heads off bunny rabbits, and David Beckham, someone about as threatening as the red Teletubby, a guy who probably smears his body in scented candle wax and probably cries whilst watching rom-coms with the wife. And yet Beckham came out of that looking like the bad guy. I'm sorry, no, he's married to one of the Spice Girls. I'm sorry, what? That's like Nate Diaz being bullied by Harry Styles. It doesn't really fit. But yeah, that's how Simeone was introduced to the world. And honestly, there were never any signs that he would ever amount to being a good coach. I mean, there's a guy who quit River Plate as manager in 2008 after 11 games without a win. And they were sitting bottom of the league. He then goes and lasts just a year at San Lorenzo, and guess what? Sacked after a year. He only survived 6 months in Italy, coaching Catania in Serie A, and yet by the end of the year, he was unveiled as manager of Atletico Madrid. This made absolutely no sense. I mean, the clever, sensible appointment would have been Rafa Benitez, who was out of work that year. That would have actually been a good pick, but apparently he turned it down. I mean, this was just a desperate stab in the dark, appointing a popular ex-pro who so far had proved to be a managerial misfit. I mean, it'd be like if Inter Milan had replaced Antonio Conte with Paul Ince. I mean, this was the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer appointment, right? Make no mistake about it, joining Atletico Madrid in December 2011, on the face of it, it sounded hopeless, right? Like agreeing to have brunch in a burning house. I mean, they just sold David De Gea and Sergio Aguero in the same transfer window. If you were an Atletico fan, you'd probably be this close to drinking shoe polish in the bath, right? Well, they actually replaced them with Thibaut Courtois and Radamel Falcao. So don't underestimate just how brilliant this business was. I can't think of any club in world football putting out such a fire like they did with those two replacements, who arguably were just as good as the players who were sold. Simeone is the greatest manager in the history of Atletico Madrid. He is the closest person still managing that has been able to recreate that long-standing dynasty that Sir Alex Ferguson had at Manchester United. I mean, Christ above, back in 2014, it looked like he would leave when he refused to be drawn on his future. Usually managers say that they've already made up their mind to go. Yeah, that was 8 years ago. His loyalty to this club is unfounded. And this is 10 years of pure success. He's got a 59% win record over an entire decade. I mean, before he joined, they were scrapping in Europe with the likes of Aberdeen, Bolton and Fulham. I'm sorry, 3 years before he arrived, they were actually getting dumped out of Europe by Bolton Wanderers and getting slapped 6-0 at home by Barcelona. I mean, this is a club who were only promoted back to the Liga in 2002. Nobody ever wants to acknowledge it because Claudio Ranieri is a sweet old man, but he essentially relegated Atletico Madrid in the year 2000, when he had the likes of Santiago Solari, Juan Valleron and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank in the team. I mean, they finished 19th with that? How? Please, how? That's just Leicester City in reverse. Alright, so under Simeone, 5th, 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 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 2nd, 2nd, 3rd, and oh yeah, 1st again last season. He's also won the Copa del Rey, the Supercopa de España, 2 Europa Leagues, and 2 UEFA Super Cups. I mean, the likes of Aguero and De Gea upgraded, right? When they left the club. Right. Those two have experienced a combined 13 minutes of competing in a Champions League final. Simeone, 240 minutes, both finals going to extra time against Real Madrid. I mean, come on, that is mental. I mean, he's also had to deal with European vultures stealing his best players. I mean, does Sir Alex Ferguson ever really have to contend with that during his long-standing reign of power in England? The only player he ever sold that he didn't want to was Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's about it. But Simeone, every summer he's had at least one key player nicked. I'm sorry, after 4 windows of that, I'd be close to going insane. Come on, after 10 years of success, after everything he's achieved in the game, and he can't even keep his #1 right back out of the hands of Newcastle. By the way, the 3rd right back he's been forced to sell to that club. Even last year, was on his way to becoming a La Liga champion. Kieran Trippier was still issuing a come and get me plea to Burnley. I mean, come on! That's like if Brad Pitt marries some Persian wife from a war-torn city in Syria, rescues her from poverty and strife, And then after 18 months, she suddenly wants to go back to scouring bins for dead rats and showering in an infected ditch. I mean, come on, Kieran, how ungrateful can you be? Simeone lost a midfield mountain like Thomas Partey to Arsenal, swapping what would have been a La Liga medal to instead finish 8th in the Premier League. I mean, Saul Niguez has agreed to become the modern day Steve Sidwell, choosing to rot on Chelsea's bench for a year. I mean, those are the cards Simeone has been dealt. He's even managed to blow a sickening £114 million of his budget on João Felix. I'm sorry, you really think anyone called Felix has the attitude and monster personality required to succeed at Atletico Madrid? No, this should be like PewDiePie enrolling in the Royal Navy SEALs. Felix is a brilliant playmaker, one of the greatest talents in the world, but don't stick an expressive Portuguese baller into a Spanish wolf pack. I mean, he's got the balance of a ballerina and the aggression of Donald Duck. He doesn't seem to have a chip in his shoulder or a cynical view of the world, so he doesn't belong at Atletico Madrid. His decision not to quit Benfica for Man City in 2019, I'm pretty sure that haunts him every time he's been converted into a Portuguese Kevin Nolan of corner kicks, just told to stick his elbow into someone's teeth. But lad, Simeone, he should leave. Leave now as Atletico Madrid legend. Do their Sir Alex Ferguson thing. Walk away with your head held high. Have a stand named after you. Get a statue outside the ground. Because right now you have reached the end of the line. Your team has got an average age of 29. That is the third oldest squad in the history of Atletico Madrid. I mean, you had a similar age group in 2003 and finished 12th. I mean, the team recently lost 4 games in a row in December, and already that's 12 defeats for the season. This team are slowly losing their edge in the Champions League. Simeone used to bring them to the final every other year, but of the last 15 games in this competition, you've only won 4 times. He's losing his edge. Take a year out. You know, just bow out at the end of the season. Leave as an Atletico Madrid legend. And then take a break. Spend a year fishing on a pond, eating bacon sandwiches, maybe picking daisies in the garden. Something that doesn't raise your blood pressure. I mean, take a leaf out of your former Argentina teammates' manual. Do the Pochettino thing and just take a break. I mean, that's real. Mauricio was a burnt out chicken nugget after 5 intense years at Spurs. So Simeone, take a year to recharge and then come back fighting in the summer of 2023. I mean, the perfect scenario would be a return to Inter Milan. I mean, come on, he played there in the 90s alongside the likes of Ronaldo, helped them win the UEFA Cup. He's a popular ex-pro, and Italian football suits Simeone. Cries up, Inter Milan are the only club on the planet who all still worship Jose Mourinho. I mean, they are the only ones. So go out there. I mean, replace Simone Inzaghi, who compared to you is just a soggy pancake. I mean, chuck in the fact that your son is a proven goal scorer in Italy. You know, 50 goals in Serie A. So why not sign him up in the San Siro rebuild? He could be Edin Dzeko's replacement. This just makes too much sense. Go to Italy and become a managerial legend there by dominating Serie A. I mean, get this sleeping giant back into Champions League finals. I mean, what's stopping you? He's already said in 2018 that his long-term ambition is to take the job one day. I mean, his sister said it too. Well, do it then. Take a year off and then go sink your teeth into Serie A. I mean, Simeone in a San Siro derby, renewing that rivalry with Juventus, taking on Max Allegri, and also Jose Mourinho at Roma. Lads, come on. Make Serie A great again. I mean, this could also be good news for Atletico Madrid too. I mean, right now, you can just go down a different path. I mean, you've got a £100 million asset in your team, so you might as well tailor it to his needs. Why not have a rebrand? Bring in that 37-year-old coach Ruben Amorim from Sporting Lisbon. Go sign Pedro Goncalves too, and yeah, once again, you can turn into a nice, attractive ball-playing team. Something your fans haven't seen since 2010. I mean, are you not sick of being the Spanish Stoke? Honestly, this idea works for everyone. I mean, if this genius idea doesn't happen, and instead, in 3 years, we're still watching Simeone coaching Atletico Madrid against teams from Sweden in the Europa League, I might actually bite a chunk of my own knuckles. Go to Inter Milan, Diego. Just do it. Do it. It makes perfect sense. Anyway, that's what I do. What do you think? Alright, let me know in the comments below. Does this make sense? Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.